Warning. This podcast is hosted by two brain-dead idiots with zero filter. Therefore, it contains language and opinions not suitable for all listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. Fuck you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Virtual Tavern, a podcast where we talk about all things sci-fi and fantasy. As you can see, we have a full fucking house today.
Let's go!
We got myself, Adam Edgar, joined by
Hunter Chambliss.
and joined by a newbie over here to the
Nathan
channel.
Taylor.
Yes, welcome to the podcast. What was your name again?
Nathan Taylor.
I forgot.
Let me fucking let me interrupt you.
We've only been friends since high school. What if
I know,
forgot?
right? Like
No.
this one guy.
Yeah, so Nathan's a good buddy of ours, and when we found out he likes Cyberpunk and Lord of the Rings, we're like, hey, you're coming on our podcast now, whether you like it or not. We're just dragging him.
I was like, absolutely,
Just, like,
let's do
clawing.
it.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm fine with him coming on the podcast, but like he could bring me a towel at least. I'm tired of getting fucking drenched on me. You know what I mean?
Let's just not take a blacklight too, and you'll be fine.
You're right.
But
Anyway,
last but not least, over there, we finally have back on the podcast the beer wench,
Beer Wench!
my lovely
Beer
wife
wench!
Melanie over there. So welcome back to the podcast.
The beer wench has been enjoying the adult beverages.
The what?
The adult beverages.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Yes, the Beer Wench has gotten high on her own supply.
yes. So we are talking about Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King Extendocock Edition, and we're like, I want to say a third through the movie now. Like,
Roughly, yeah, about a third.
maybe 25%, around there.
Yeah,
Last we left off,
it's kind of like Dragon Ball at this point. Like the percentages are just arbitrary. They don't mean anything.
yeah. When last we left off, Faramir sent the riders of Gondor, basically the people that retreated from Osgiliath. They're like, hey, guess what? You're going right back there. They're like tired and exhausted.
Oh
Like,
my god!
we
You know
have
what,
to go back.
you know what it's like? It's like fucking it's like Starship Troopers where they're like, we're going back to Clondalkin. We're gonna get that bug.
Yeah. So like maybe
Oh no, sorry, it'd be Planet P. Planet P.
maybe 200 or 300 fucking men on cavalry are charging this fortified position, and they just get instantly murked. Like,
Yeah, like
good job, Denethor. Good
Yeah,
strategy.
yeah,
Let's
you just see
do
all
it.
these fucking like orcs and Uruk-hai pulling back fucking arrows and shit, and you know as soon as they fucking let them fly, all the motherfuckers are dead.
Yeah. But before we get into our content coverage, we usually do like our house cleaning shit. It's like it's an opportunity for us to like reach out to our audience and everything, read emails, cover, what we covered in the last episode. But before we get to that, I just kind of want to like recap because we have two members of the channel coming back and a newbie here. So Nathan, I just wanted to ask you fuck you over there. I see that. Nathan, I just wanted to ask you, like, what's your like experience with Lord of the Rings? Like, when did you become a fan, or how big of a fan are you? Like, tell me about it.
Big fan.
Shut up.
I wouldn't say I'm a giant fan, but like as the movies came out, we went and saw them either on oh man, what was it? It's not Netflix, but pay-per-view. We would pay-per-view them as they came out, and then as the games came out on the PS2, big old fan of the first two games. Never could play the third game, but the second game I played the hell out of it.
The Lord of the Rings games are goated.
Oh man, the first one took me a while. There's actually one time where I very, very vividly remember you could save at any point in the first game. So there was one point where you were playing as Aragorn and you were in the middle of the city and you had to fight some like bandits or something like that. And I
Mhm.
saved the second I was dying.
Oh,
So I would die and it would reload and
No.
I'd be dead. I had to restart the whole game.
Oh,
but like I think
God.
the Lord of the Rings is such an awesome series. I think the Lord of the Rings. I watched all three of the Hobbits. I've never read, but I would love to read the Silmarillion. Just all sort. I think it's a really cool genre. and
kind
a
of like
really
the
cool
Warhammer
series.
lore you're into.
Oh,
You-
100%. Absolutely. Because when you guys asked me to be on the podcast, I really wanted to make sure I was up to snuff. So I just started reading everything I could, like
Oh.
Reddit articles, Wikipedia, you name it. I was like, I want to not be that guy who's like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the one who never ever said anything and just says, yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like the person that's watching Star Wars would be like, "Is that Captain Kirk?" Like, I want to fucking kill
Yeah,
you
be
right
like,
now.
Fucking slap you.
That's me.
That's cool. So,
I'm sorry, is that Dark Vader?
oh my god, you!
That is me. Okay, to be fair, you guys watched that one movie and I said it's shit, and you guys would give me so much
The Last Jedi.
that night.
Okay.
You guys gave me
Dude.
so much
Okay,
that night,
hold on,
and then you're
hold-
like, oh wait, it's shit. Fuck
to be
you both.
fair, we were fans of the franchise for a long time, and they hit us with that
Stop flipping off the
nostalgia
camera.
of Mark Hamill actually being back.
Yeah.
And when we got fucking pumped for it, was like, dude, that was actually fucking sick. And then as time progressed and we were actually able to like process it, like,
No. You
that
guys
movie
made me
sucks
sick.
fucking dick.
You
You just
think
made me
so? The
sick.
very the
Fucking
first of the
Twitter.
new trilogy. You
not
guys just
not
aren't a
the
big fan?
first. The first isn't bad.
The Force Awakens, right?
So we're talking about, it would have been episode 8.
We were in
Yeah.
Portland at the
The
time.
The
the
Last
Ryan
Jedi, right?
Johnson film. The
Yeah.
one where
Is that the third one in the new trilogy, The Last Jedi? Is
Second one.
Isn't
It's the Last Jedi, the Ryan
Okay.
Johnson one.
Uh-huh.
And we were blinded by nostalgia when we watched it. Hunter, you remember
yeah,
that?
You
yeah,
guys
no,
were.
100%. And like, it has caused so many different arguments, not just with Melanie,
Mm.
but with one of our friends up in Portland. Like, we were out drinking at a bar, and we were sitting right in front of like where all the straws and the napkins were. And as I'm sitting there trying to like fight my point, he's just sitting there. And finally, the bartender comes over, like, "Hey, can you stop spitting on all the straws, please?"
Oh no.
And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." So we just moved to a different part of
Oh
the
my
fucking
god,
bar.
please tell me that
What's
wasn't
the
Jeff.
third
The
new
Rise of
trilogy
Skywalker.
then? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've
No,
only
you
ever-
guys were such bitches about it though.
Yes.
Explain.
Okay,
Well,
we got out of the movie theater and we're waiting for the tram because we were in fucking Portland. And then all I said was, I feel bad for you guys. It just felt like there was a lot of child humor and it wasn't that great. And then you guys told me to go sit in the corner.
We both jumped on you like, you didn't like it?
You guys
Go in the
didn't
corner.
even sit
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't.
next to me in a fucking Portland, my ass.
Yeah.
You
You
told
guys
me to
did
go
ditch her in different
sit
seats.
We did.
You
in
go,
a
oh, yeah.
different seat
Savages.
in the fucking
She got
city.
vanished.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. No, you guys treated me like shit that night. You guys wouldn't even
But
like anytime I
after-
tried to talk,
okay.
you're like, oh, it's
Okay, but after a few months, we did stew on it, and then
I
we're
never
like,
got a
okay,
full
you were
apology.
right.
I
We're
never
sorry.
got a- I never
We're
got a full-
sorry. We're
Actually,
sorry. Let me grab
Both
my
of you,
hand.
both of you. I want
We're
you down on
sorry.
your knees.
We're sorry. That's as good as you're gonna get. We held hands. That's gay enough. All right, so let's go back to the podcast. So
Yeah,
Melanie, so we asked Nathan what's his experience with Lord of the Rings. I already know what your experience with Lord of the Rings, but to the viewers, what is your relationship with Lord of the Rings? Like, how big of a fan are you? What do you think of it? Go.
Well, I mean, I was never like a huge fan of it. But when me and you first started dating, I catfished you.
You did.
I did.
This bitch pretended like she was a full-on Lord of the Rings
did.
fan and would Google facts from Lord of the Rings to
No, I
impress
asked
me.
my
That's not
best
what she was
friend.
into, though.
Yeah.
You're
That's like
wrong about your
something.
information. I asked my best friend.
Oh, okay.
And all I said was, my precious. And then you just got
And I just
this,
instantly came like,
this horny
My
dog
precious.
because all
That's
I
now the
said was
name of
my
my
precious.
yeah.
That's all I said. I didn't even say anything logical. I just said
So,
my precious.
Dude,
You
just for the record, I've never had a woman pretend to like the same stuff I did
Okay,
just to get with
that
me. So
is
that's
a
saying
fucking
something.
Okay.
compliment.
She
Okay,
was like,
that is a
"This guy
compliment.
is so cool, and
Yeah.
I'm so into everything about him. I want to
So-
pretend to like the same stuff he does, just so he likes me."
Okay,
That's
that
saying
is-
something.
that is
That's
awesome.
pretty cool.
Even
So-
to prove my point, our wedding theme was what?
Lord of the Rings. It was Lord of the Rings themed.
Water.
Okay, our ring
get
barrier had a box of what?
What?
Eagles.
The ring bearer.
Oh,
ring- Lord of the Rings
like-
custom chest.
yes, it was like Shire
So
themed.
that was
That's
my
cool.
basically my thought process with it, and then I'll let Hunter speak. Is that basically like I fell in love with it because like not only does it have a really good love story about trial and error, because I mean obviously, and it's not just the love story. It's like come on, like there's all these like really cool characters. Okay, while he dies,
We laugh.
let's give it a
Laugh at the
second.
best.
Look at this dude. Newbie can't even talk.
Rocky.
Okay, continue, Melanie.
Fucking nerd.
Hold on. He's taken by thunder. Are you good?
Sorry. I was trying to be quiet while coughing, and I inhaled my beer, and it like fucking multiplied up. Okay,
You good?
Thunder's back on you.
You good?
Yes. Sorry, I planned that for you to be talking, but you weren't. I'm absolutely good.
I can't even focus. What the fuck was I saying?
You were talking about how I introduced you to Lord of the Rings
Okay,
and
you
everything.
introduced me to Lord of the Rings.
And like the ring bearers.
And the thing is, like,
theme and all that.
yeah, we had like a Lord of the Rings thing budding, but the thing is, I like about Lord of the Rings is that it has a really good story, and you never really get to find that now with the New Age, right?
Yeah.
And then you do a lot of deep, dark history on it, and then you find out that the writer was actually writing this in the fucking war,
Yeah, World War
in
One.
a
Mhm.
fucking tent.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was writing this in a tent, and then you kind of wonder, like, okay, so the ring is about the power. So what is he talking about exactly? And then it just happens to modern time, and that the reason why he doesn't like to change anything, and the reason why he doesn't like anybody kind of pickpointing what the power is because he wants it to stay mainstream.
Yeah,
Right?
the Lord
It's
of the
so
Rings at its
good.
heart is very much a traditional good versus evil story.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
hates when people pick at it.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you say anything about, like, okay, so you're in the war, is the ring about, like,
It's just
Hitler?
I
Evil.
read The Ring is about like desire, and it really elevates like your desires and your ambitions. Like he was in
Mhm.
World War One, and he has seen violence.
Oh.
They are violent in World War One. So like
yeah.
I've never read the books, but I've seen that like he'll spend 10 paragraphs describing a horse and like 4 sentences describing a battle. Because he has seen violence, he has seen gore, everything, and he doesn't want to glorify violence. He wants to glorify the peace and the beauty of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff like he's like, I've had my fill of it, and I'm not trying to make it look any more pretty than it really isn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
he doesn't want to glorify war and everything.
Well, and then the women that he describes, they're all like pretty much almost the same. There's even the brunettes and the blondes, but they're all like this magical beings.
yeah.
So then it's like it makes you wonder, like, is that the embassies of the power against the ring, or was it people that he actually met while he was in the tent?
I think he based a lot of his works off of people he knew in real life and obviously
He
the events that he
hates
had
that,
in real
though.
life. So
Yeah.
I can't remember who he married, but it's highly likely all the like strong female characters that he wrote about are
Mhm.
based off of his wife,
Yeah, and they're beautiful the way he describes them. Like,
Yeah.
they're magical beings, and it's like I fell in love with it, not just because of the love story, but because of the description of how he had every single thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I did catfish you. Fuck you. You're
So,
married to
it
me.
worked.
Hold
You
on,
have a
hold on.
fucking
Okay,
baby.
let's
She
go back.
got your
Let's go
ass.
to Hunter now.
So it's going to pertain to the whole catfishing thing.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
man.
Hunter got
and actually,
catfished.
it also doubles back to our Star Wars talk. There was this girl, this gal I was talking to for a while,
Mhm.
and she was telling me, oh, I am a big Star Wars fan, this and that. I was like, all right, that's fucking cool. That's really rare to find like women around here that are into it. And we started hanging out, and I mean, you guys know my fucking dogs. I have 2 that are my little fucking Ewoks.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes over for the first time and goes, oh man, they look like the little bears from Star Wars.
Oh,
What the
dude.
fuck did you just say?
Oh,
You're like, you faker.
That's
you
something I would say.
motherfucker.
You mother faker.
you mother faker.
Mother faker.
Yeah, give her credit. I would totally say the same thing.
Look like a little dude.
Yeah, just
He
move a
wants
little
you
closer.
closer. He wants you to kiss that mic.
I want you to.
He wants you to literally kiss the mic. See, Adam is criticizing.
No, it's just about sound performance.
I'm
So
trying to
He
get
wants
the
you to kiss
best
it.
possible quality. If
There
they
we
tell
go.
me move it closer, move it forward, I'm all about it.
you do what Daddy tells you.
He
Oh,
is
right.
Yeah, that's
he's a
right.
people pleaser.
That's right.
He's gonna please
But
you.
anyway, so now that we got that out of the way, kind of got you up to speed and got you back up to speed. Let's go ahead and go into
That
our
works.
house cleaning shit.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that don't know, new listeners or viewers to the podcast, our house cleaning shit is what we cover before we get into the meat and potatoes of our episode.
Yeah.
So we go over emails, we go over our talking about recaps, we go over a bunch of shit with the podcast. First things first, we've been getting very good listenership on Spotify and YouTube, which is fucking awesome because we took like a 2-month
Let's
hiatus doing this podcast studio. And when we came back and I uploaded just those 2 episodes, we started taking off in the hundreds of listeners again.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's
I'm
so
glad,
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
Congrats.
like even though we took that hiatus so that way we could get this fucking place made, like, we can make it to where it would be right. It would be exactly what we needed it to be.
Mhm.
That our audience were patient enough to wait for us to come back,
That they
and
stayed loyal.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
still
like-
here. Like, it's fucking awesome. We love you guys. We appreciate that fact that you guys have stuck around even when we weren't able to upload anything. Like, it's so fucking cool that you
Like
guys
they're
are here.
so interested in everything you guys have to say and everything you post. I like when you're like, guys, we're here. We're not ignoring you. We're just working on making it better. They're like, we're willing to wait and we're going to be there as soon as you come back. And sure enough, they were there and fucking
Exactly.
made it
Exactly, dude.
happen.
It's
That's awesome.
It's so fucking cool because like we never imagined we would get anything like what we have. Like, this was something for us to be able to hang out and do and just hang out, like to have fun. Like, we didn't think that we'd start having like hundreds of people come fucking
Yeah,
listen to the
that's
two
a
of us
lot of
ramble
people.
about shit.
Like if
dude.
I were to combine it between, because I look at all the analytics every week. If I were to combine it between YouTube and Spotify, there's hundreds of listeners every week.
Dude.
It doesn't show it in like the subscriber amount or the followers, but I see the people that have like streamed our show. It's in the hundreds, like
So if-
across all platforms.
So if you take just 100 people alone, that would probably cover most of the road in front of your house alone.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah.
less like multiple hundreds of people listening, just people gathering in
Yeah.
your yard to listen to what you guys got to
Dude,
say.
yeah,
That's
imagine if it
awesome.
was
And if I
like
had long,
fucking
wavy
medieval
hair,
times where
Hey, that's so
exclusive.
That's how it gets culty.
we got
Oh,
tiny
God.
mustache man.
But I just wanted to say that. Thank you guys for staying loyal to the podcast. Thank you guys for subscribing and following. We've been getting a lot of new subscribers on YouTube, a lot of new followers on Spotify. And also I got Opus Clip, so I'm going to be posting a lot more YouTube shorts. So that's cool. Nothing really else new with the podcast. We also have a TikTok. It's virtual_tavern_podcast. We have an email. We haven't gotten any emails yet.
No one
But
wants
we
to
would.
email you.
Oh, I'm
I
gonna
know.
hit you guys up.
Honey,
you send
Dick
us an
pics for
email.
days.
you need to put the effort to get the email, okay? You
Every time I pop my
When
chin
do-
down, please
treat it
email
like
us.
a
you know.
first date. Treat it like a second date.
Mel,
Yeah.
when's the first time you sent it? When's the last time you sent an email?
Oh, bitch, she got you.
I
People
actually
don't
said.
email.
When's
I
the
sent
first time
an
you sent an email?
Oh,
last
to pay a
night.
bill or something, huh?
Oh, to get my job to pay me.
What?
But anyway, so we have an email. We would absolutely love to hear from you guys, and we will read it on the podcast. Like if you have a good question or
Or
something that
TikTok.
you want to say, or TikTok.
Send it to
Um,
TikTok then.
Well, no, send us an email, and
Because he has a point.
we'll make a
He's
YouTube
being a
short out
bitch.
of it. So either way, our email is contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com. It's
Yeah.
linked in our description of all of our pages. So if you have a question or something you want to say or just something you want to reach out to us about, just let us know and we will cover it on the next podcast episode.
Yeah.
We've done it in the past, people sending in fan arts, people sending in, questions or just like, praise or even YouTube comments. Spotify also now allows comments.
What?
So, yes.
Yeah.
So
Really?
It's
Yeah.
super sick. Yeah.
So
It's
that you
actually
do.
really
Cool.
fucking nice.
if you leave a comment on this video or on Spotify, I will read it on the podcast as long as it's not like super fucking vulgar.
It's gonna be something like,
Oh man,
oh,
that counts
that
me
person's
out.
hair sucks.
But
As long as like you're, if you leave a comment or whatever, like if it's tasteful, if there's
If
content,
it adds to the
yeah, like
to the meat and potatoes of it all.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not like,
like-
you guys suck or oh that's really great, but like something real,
yeah, like,
productive.
Something
Exactly.
we can work around,
Build on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if all you feel like commenting is, "Oh man, I love this episode," whatever, that's great, awesome. We'd love
We'll
to
still
hear
read
from
that.
you. But, I guess for it to be like right on the podcast, it's like Nathan was saying, like it's more so something that we can build off of, something to add to the meat and potatoes.
Exactly.
But regardless, like I said, we're happy to hear from you guys. Like, if it's just a comment saying, "Hey, this episode was good," whatever, absolutely go ahead and leave it. Like, being able to engage with you guys is so fucking like it's nice and it's critical as well. Like,
it makes it worth it.
yeah. And it's just a good way for us to be able to engage with you guys to a deeper level.
Yeah. So the last thing we do before we get into the meat and potatoes of our coverage is our talking point recap. So especially for you, Nathan, since you're new to the podcast, our talking point recap is just a question that we ask each other to reflect on the previous episode of whatever we covered. So it's kind of like a little small recap. So we showed the recap.
Did you give out the email for the email section, or did you say we just don't have any?
No, contact virtual tavern at
he
Gmail. We didn't have
absolutely
it.
did.
He
Email.
mentioned it
I
twice.
didn't even
but
do the thing where it's like, on
Oh,
screen,
God.
and then it pops up in between my fingers,
How about
but I
this?
didn't.
Contact. Oh, other way. Contact virtualtavern@gmail.com. I'll put it in subtitles.
Swear to
Contact.
God, he
Like
mentioned
reading
it twice.
Rainbow.
Yeah, sorry.
The more
I
you know.
legit couldn't fucking remember. My ADHD just
Fucking
kicked
I
in
remember
mentioned
my
hardcore.
it
first time not
twice.
listening.
And I told you my ADHD kicked in hardcore. I was
But,
like, I don't remember.
The last thing
Oh,
that we do
God.
before we get into just our play-by-play of the episode is our talking about recap. And we haven't had any emails, so we go straight into our talking about recap.
Yep.
So Hunter, my talking about recap for you for the last segment of Return of the King is when we what we covered last time was obviously Faramir riding to his death, right? His father is like, I don't give a fuck if you live or die. I wish Boromir was here. Frodo and Sam, they're at odds because, the ring is weighing heavy on Frodo, and Gollum's like trying to, interfere.
Drive a
And
he's
wedge
trying to
between their
fucking-
friendship.
yeah, he's like trying to sow seeds of dissent and everything. So that's all that happened last episode, and the lighting of the beacons, right? To call Rohan for aid. My talking about recap for you is, what would you have done differently strategy-wise if you were in Denethor's seat?
You mean besides not sending my fucking people to their death? Like, your son already came and told you, hey, we lost everything. Like,
Yeah.
we went there, we got our ass kicked. We barely made it out with, say, 300 to 400 soldiers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even bothered sending those guys there. Like, at that point, you might as well try to fortify your main fucking fortress.
Yeah.
Like, make it to where your people are there at Minas Tirith. That way, like, if they end up fucking going there, you have as much manpower there as you can possibly have,
Yeah.
rather than
Just
willingly sacrificing all of these guys' lives. Like, I get that he's been corrupted by the Palantir and shit because, Sauron's been able to fucking feed him subliminal messages. But yeah, what I would have just done was essentially, I guess, bunker down and try to prepare your people for an imminent attack.
Well, here's the thing. If you're looking at Palantir and you see in your crystal ball that if I send these guys, to attack this place and they'll win, they'll make it, they lost this time, but they'll win next time, what would you do? Wouldn't you send them?
That's actually a good
But
point.
the thing
Yeah,
is,
solid
Sauron
point.
is feeding Denethor everything he sees in the Palantir the entire time.
What if? Yeah, that's actually a good point. What
So-
if Sauron was sending Denethor a message like, hey, if you attack this time, it'll actually win?
Yeah, so like if Sauron sends Denethor, if you guys attack this time, it's going to win because they're not going to be expecting it. Why wouldn't you, And Sauron knows, why wouldn't you? Because you're going to lose. Denethor doesn't know that. He sees in his crystal ball, oh yeah, this is it, guys. And he sends them and then they lose. And after that, that's
And
the
it's like,
real downfall of Denethor at that point.
it's
'Cause
that
he
meme
just-
of Sully.
Yeah. But if you think you're going to win because the Palantir that you've been going off of says you're going to win, why wouldn't you at that
Yeah.
point?
That's a fair point. That's actually something I hadn't considered. Like, if he was fed messages of,
Falseness.
you need to send these guys and
Like they'll
They're-
win. I
they're-
swear.
we're gonna fight and we're
We're
gonna
gonna
win.
win.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, if given the choice, like, I would have just bunkered down, help fortify Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
But my talking point recap for you is we got to see, as you were saying, Gollum sow his fucking seeds of mistrust between Sam and Frodo.
Yeah.
How do you think things would have played out had Frodo woken up as Gollum's doing his little fucking sprinkle dusting?
Oh, if he
on
caught
Sam,
him?
if
Beat
he
the
caught
brakes
him
off him.
mid-act.
Frodo's just like,
Starts throwing the meanest hands.
clapping his cheeks
It's probably
too.
started like, what are you doing? And then
Dude.
Gollum's probably trying to do the thing he does and so some weird, I don't know. Really, like, I don't know
He
how you
probably
could.
would have made an excuse. Be
He'd have
like,
tried.
I thought there was worms on him. I know the lumber spell keeps him away.
Yeah, to
you
see
know?
if he can draw him out. Like, do you think Gollum could have talked his way out of it being as persuasive as he was at lying?
I think even if Frodo caught Gollum doing that bullshit with the Salt Bay on the fucking. I think even if he did catch Gollum in the act, he's so corrupted by the ring that he would have found, and Gollum too, he's a master deceiver. He would have found some way to talk his way out of it. Like, and I don't think
Frodo would be like that fucking sleeping piece of shit.
No, I think Frodo still would have like followed,
Exiled him.
Yeah, like maybe not exiled him right then and there, but like I think he still would have followed Gollum because he's just so corrupted and so far gone at this point.
You're so paranoid and just so
yeah
racked.
And Gollum's
mentally.
a master manipulator too.
Yeah.
Like he would talk his
So
way out of
bad.
it. He'd do word salad like a
Did you say
president, you
word
know.
salad?
Yeah.
Word salad, yeah.
But anyway, that's our talking point recaps. That's all of our house cleaning shit. Now we can go balls deep into the content coverage, which I have it playing right here because we have a lot of new listeners and or not new listeners, new people to the podcast. And also it's easy for us to follow along. But anyway, so the last scene we left off, Gandalf was all mopey dopey. He's like, oh fuck, Faramir's dead. And basically that whole assault that attacked Osgiliath, they all got murked, right? And now we go to a scene with King Theoden. And last episode, the beacons of Gondor were lit, and now Rohan is answering the call for aid, right? The call for aids. And King Theoden, he got over his past resentment of Gondor not being there. Where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? Right? That shows character development, and he's actually going to ride and help out the people of Gondor.
Yeah.
So he's at, I forget what this place is called, but it's like the meeting point of all the different, you know. No, it's not Pelennor Fields yet. It's like this meeting point where all the different Rohan, you know, settlements across the country of Rohan are meeting to go as one unit towards Gondor. I forget what this place is called, but so we have Theoden and Aragorn talking. They're like 6,000 spears, less than half of what I hoped for. So I guess the army of Rohan is like 20,000 men. They just couldn't get them all here.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aragorn is like 6,000 is not enough to break the armies of Mordor. And Theoden is like, he's still being hopeful, right? He's still kind of like knowing that we're doomed in the back of our mind, but like, he's like, more will come, pats his arm.
We're like, what do you do at that point? It's like, I brought everybody I could. If I thought every single person I brought was going to die, why would I bring them?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you got to be hopeful at that point. Otherwise, it's like, hey guys, let's go die. How many people did you talk? Yeah. How many people? Let's do it, guys.
It's like Muscle Man. Let's go to our deaths.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god, the arrow, it's real.
Yeah, a lot of them.
But where they're camped out is right next to like a mountain pass. It's called the Dimmolt Road. And Aragorn looks into this Dimmolt Road, and for a split second, he sees the ghost of a fallen human king. And Gimli comes over, snaps him the fuck out of it. He's like, let's find some food. And Aragorn's like, wait, did I just imagine that? Okay, it's gone now. But that's a little bit of foreshadowing to what we'll see later on in the film. You know, Aragorn, you know, becoming king and everything, and, you know, rallying the army of the dead.
Dude, we have made this reference in one of the prior episodes. I can't help it. Every time I hear Aragorn becoming king, instant fucking just Simba. I just can't wait to be king.
But yeah, and then we go straight to, this is Merry, by the way, Nathan. So this is Merry. The other hobbit was Pippin. Merry has sworn his fealty to Rohan, while Pippin has sworn his loyalty to Gondor.
Gondor? Or like not Denethor specifically?
Well, same
I
thing.
mean,
Same diff.
Yeah.
I get you.
He's the leader of Gondor right now, the steward.
Why didn't they both? Is there a reason why they didn't both do one or the other?
They got separated early on in this film.
Yeah, they were captured.
Well,
right?
they got captured,
Yeah.
but also Pippin was a dumb fuck and grabbed the Palantir, and Sauron thought he had the ring. So Gandalf, to protect him, took him to Minas Tirith. Kind of like the front lines, you know, and everything. But like, if he stayed in Rohan, the Sauron would have been able to track him. So might as well take him to the front lines where it doesn't make any difference.
We may or may not die.
But there's also an extended scene here where Eomer, basically the nephew of the King Theoden, and not Arwen, Eowyn, are talking and everything, and how Merry is like ready to go to war. Eowyn is encouraging him, sharpening the blade and everything. And Eomer is like, what are you doing, dude? That's a hobbit. What the fuck do you think he's going to be any good for in battle? And Eowyn's like, well, he deserves to go into battle just like anyone else. And it reflects a lot of like the personal conflicts that she has, right? Because she's a woman. She's not allowed to go to war.
Yeah, they're like, the women don't belong on the front line. There's something to be protected.
Yeah.
And she's like, what if we want to go fight?
Yeah, it's reflecting her character as well, is because Merry is a hobbit, a tiny little dwarf, creature.
Fight about it.
Yeah. So everyone looks at him like, what is he going to do in war, right? Bite some people's ankles.
I
don't know. Those ankles fucking biters. They're extremely painful.
Are you talking from experience because of Allie?
Yeah, she's an ankle biter. I can't cook dinner because you're going like, arr. Yeah, no, you can't cook dinner with that child.
Yeah, but it reflects a lot of Eowyn's personal character problems as well, right? Because Merry, as a hobbit, isn't going to be allowed in war. What the fuck are they going to do? They're going to be a distraction rather than a benefit. And women, obviously, weren't allowed in war at this time. It's a medieval story, but it's the same concepts of, our own history, right? Yeah, same diff, right? Women weren't allowed in war for most of human history. So we
get babies.
What's that?
We get babies.
Women are the baby makers. They're not the war
no purpose.
People.
We get babies to serve for war.
Yeah, but it's reflecting her inner feelings, right? Like,
oh, absolutely. Like we're getting to we're getting to see.
No, you get babies.
Her what the fuck is it?
Internal conflict.
It's her internal conflict, but I can't think of the fucking term. It's when you take whatever it is that you're thinking. She's projecting.
Projection.
Yes, projecting onto him.
She sees. Is it Sam or Mary? Because
it's Mary.
So she sees Mary being told, "No, you can't do it because you are not made to do this," and she projects her feelings because she thinks that that's the same. The same thing is applied to her.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like I feel like that's kind of why she's more open to actually like talking and discussing like how she feels about the situation or whatever, because to her it's no different than
two
them
peas
saying
in a pod.
Yeah, exactly.
So Eomer says, Eowyn says, why can't he go to war? Why can't he fight for the ones he loves? And Eomer says, and what benefit do you think he will be? The war is the place of men. What do you think he will do? At the first sight of bloodshed, he will run. He will flee, and he will be right to do so. When the carnage and bloodshed begin, do you really think he would stand his ground? I'm like, holy shit, he's spitting some facts right now. Like, do you really think, as courageous as Merry is, do you think if like people around him are getting murked and there's a cave troll right in front of him, he's going to stand his ground?
Well, like he's been through, like Eomer doesn't know everything he's been through with like the Mines of Moria, watching Gandalf get sucked down the chasm by the Balrog.
Okay, that's true.
And the Two Tower, like he's been through what Eomer doesn't think hobbits have been through. Because 9 times out of 10, you talk to a hobbit, they're from the Shire, they farm, they're just people of peace. But like all of the hobbits that were in the Fellowship, they've seen what it means to be in war, whether it be the Two Towers or even just the Mines of Moria alone.
That's true.
Not only that, like you also have from the Mines of Moria where the fucking orcs and everything started rushing one room.
Oh man, yeah, one room. You have the small room with the coffin in the middle.
Yep.
What is it? 6, 7 of them, maybe.
It's 9.
And like, and more orcs than you can count. And then you got this troll that's just beating the brakes off everything it can see.
Heck's gonna give it to you.
Frodo gets stabbed, right? During the Mines of Moria.
Frodo got stabbed.
So the one person that everybody's counting on through his purity to bring the ring to Mordor is like what you think is fatally wounded. Like this is it. If Frodo dies here, who's really gonna take it?
Yeah,
all the way to Mordor. At that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't remember if Faramir at this point had already revealed like his weakness to the ring or not. I feel like he did, or not Faramir.
You mean
Boromir?
Boromir.
Yeah. I feel like Boromir had already shown his weakness by that point. Like, as soon as he fucking saw it, that just
it just latched onto his mind. He's like, I want it, I need it. This is, he's like, give it to me.
Boromir?
No, he
got clapped.
He did.
Yeah,
Boromir,
so he showed his something.
Yeah,
Oh,
He
they
died
showed him a whole lot of
shortly after.
arrows.
yeah. He got shot by the arrows after
Yeah.
the Mines of Moria.
That brutal
Yeah.
ass Orca just straight fucking letting them rip.
Yeah, that 100-pound or 2,000-pound
Yeah,
torque
draw
bow.
and just like,
2,000 pounds? Jesus Christ.
dude, they're Orca. What do you expect?
Did you hear the tension on that string? It's like a fucking snap, like a
A
wire
snap-
cue. I
I
can't
just-
talk right now. Goddamn.
I
It's like a
remember.
fucking snapping turtle that's fucking chomping on
Yeah.
your back.
I just remember as a kid, like watching that scene and just like, even as a kid, when you don't realize how serious certain things are, I was like, this is serious. Just watch him get wrecked with those
Yeah.
arrows. Like, they were hitting him with some force.
Yeah.
And he took every single one until he was fucking
Like a
until he couldn't.
champ.
Yeah, like a champ. And this Orca is just letting them rip every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, Boromir in that scene and the Uruk-hai that charges with the fucking torch in, it's during the Battle of Helm's Deep that's, running to go fucking light the bomb. Kind of the same fucking
Yeah.
energy, because, like, no matter how many fucking arrows you throw at them, they just kept fucking doing what they
Just
were doing.
determination.
So-
Yeah.
So to kind of go back to the topic originally, Mary's courage, like the question of Mary's courage, like would he stand his ground if everyone around him was dying? That's the point that Eomer is bringing up. Like, do you think he would stand and fight?
Do
He
you
will
guys
flee.
think he would? Do you
Ye-
guys think he'd stand and fight?
Yes, because I as we were talking about Boromir's death, I remembered when Boromir fucking dies, Merry and Pippin draw their swords and they charge into the
Yeah,
fucking
they
Uruk-hai.
get fucking pissed. They're like, dude, fuck you guys.
I mean, they don't do much, but they still like
they still
Like,
fucking
they give it everything they got, even if it's not that much.
right.
Yeah,
Like,
they had the option to nut up or shut up, and they fucking nutted up,
They
pulled up
nutted
their
the
swords,
fuck
like,
up.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
yeah, I mean, they got grabbed instantly, but like, still, that's
Yeah,
courageous.
they did.
But
They're
after,
just like, oh, look, these fucking children want to play.
like this,
Like,
this
oh,
was
this is
cute.
adorable.
oh, look at this one.
The Uruk-hai are like, this one's mine.
I'm gonna
Like,
take you home. You're
yes.
gonna be my little pet. Yes, you were.
But after that scene, so after Eomer, talks down to Eowyn and everything, we go back to Aragorn, who's sleeping in his tent, and he has a little nightmare. He has a vision of like losing Arwen, who is his love interest, the female elf. He has a nightmare, fucking draws his knife, and realizes one of the king's messengers has come into his tent and said, King Theoden is awaiting you, my lord. And I fucking love this scene, right? So Hunter, we talked about it a couple episodes ago, how Aragorn in the books is so fucking different from Aragorn in the movies.
He is Simba in the books. Like, he 100% is like, I'm fucking king, like, fucking big dick swinging. In
Yes.
the movies, as we've discussed,
Just
he's
so
more
unsure
like,
of himself
I
the
don't
whole time
fucking-
until the end.
Yeah, in the movies, he doesn't want to be king, which adds a lot of character depth to him. Because in the books, he's full from the onset. He's just like, I am the king of Gondor, the rightful heir of Isildur, and it makes his character fucking boring, man.
it makes him kind of arrogant, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm listening to the audiobooks right now, and that's exactly how he is.
That
feel
makes
like-
so much more sense. Arrogant, Aragorn. They sound similar.
I feel like as far as the movies go, he really didn't like accept his place as king up until a little later on when he really rallies, the troops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Like in this movie, The Return of the
Yeah,
King,
in
or
this
Yeah, he's
movie
talking
when he
about-
rallies the troops
The
Yeah.
troops.
towards the end, that really make the difference.
Yeah.
Like that's finally was like, you know what? I didn't want to accept it, but it is what it is, and I should use it to my best advantage.
Yeah.
Mel, what do you think? Do you think Aragorn's character is like better in like the movies, like how he's shown here, or in the books where he wants to be king right from the beginning?
Okay, well, I never read the books, but I gotta say, if he was king from the beginning, that would just ruin the love story that they have, which I know, God, her stereotypical love story. But if you see in this scene right here, where they're talking about how she's dying,
Yeah, Arwen
And-
is dying.
all of the elves are dying. That's like so emotional for him because it's like not only is her species is dying, but she, the love where his star is actually dying because darkness is already clouding them.
Yeah.
And I never I asked you this question. I was like, how do the elves know? And where did they go? And you never really could answer.
Well, they're going to Valinor.
But how did they know?
How do they know what?
The darkness is coming. Like how many times have they traveled? I asked you this
Well-
question before, and you're like,
As Sauron's power grows and the darkness over Middle Earth increases, their light diminishes.
They can feel the light diminishing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the stronger the darkness gets, the weaker the light gets. And with their direct link to the light, as much as it is, they can, like, the more you can feel your power
Mhm.
getting weaker, the more you know that the other side
Yeah.
of what you are is getting stronger. So while you don't directly see
yeah.
Sauron and his darkness and his army getting stronger, you can feel yourself getting weaker. So there's only one logical solution to why you're getting weaker.
so
Yeah.
they're just
And-
like
and-
they keep traveling.
Well, so Mel, the elves in this universe
Yeah.
are extremely tied to like the life force of the earth.
But how many times
So-
do they travel?
Well, I think they've left for Valinor twice in the history of Middle Earth.
Uh-huh.
Once in the first age, I think, and now. But so basically, as Sauron power grows, the elves' life, their immortality is fading away. So they're all fucking off and going back to Valinor, which is basically elven heaven.
Yeah.
And like you said, the love story between Arwen and Aragorn is very important here. It adds another dynamic to Aragorn's character, because you can ask yourself the question, is Aragorn becoming king because it's the right thing to do, or because he knows it's the only way to save his love interest Arwen?
I want to say it's both though, because like a thing is, he loves her and he loves not only her, but he also loves her people.
Yeah.
Do you think
'Cause-
he accepts destiny before or after he realizes it, and that's what it takes to save her?
I think
I-
after.
I
Yeah,
want
I
to
would
say she
say-
forced destiny on him, right?
You know, he's
Well-
like, she's dying. What can I do to save her? And
Yeah.
he's like, and like probably his feelings caught up before his instincts. And he's like, I know I need to be king. I know I should be king. But what can I do to save her? And in his mind, be king. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, that's the only logical solution at that point.
Yeah.
It's to go forward.
So I think that adds a lot of dynamics to Aragorn's character rather than just being the book version where it's bland and vanilla as
Like,
hell.
I'm him.
Oh
like,
God, that would be so
I'm
boring.
him
from the
Timothy.
get-go.
I'm the guy.
Hit me neutron. It's me.
Oh my god.
That would
It's a
make him
guy.
arrogant. But I think Hunter wanted to say something.
Oh, go ahead.
Honestly, at this point, it's been so fucking long. I don't fucking remember.
Okay, if
this
you remember,
is
let me
what
know.
our problem is that we keep talking and we don't give Hunter a speaking point. Hunter, you just
well,
interrupt
so-
us.
I know. At one point it was when we were talking about like the light and the dark.
Yeah.
To kind of like explain how the elves feel again. We're referencing Star Wars a lot.
Oh,
in
God.
this.
Absolutely.
Stop
Absolutely,
referencing
no.
Star Wars. You
no,
guys,
I mean like
it's just
there's-
like
with-
oh,
there's
Interstellar
different
all over
light
again.
and dark.
the concept of exactly light and dark, like it's very similar between the two. Like
Yeah.
one side, as soon as say like the dark side starts taking over the light, like you're gonna feel it because it's like a yin and yang kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
there has
The
to be a
balance.
balance between the two. So as soon as one side starts to realize, they're getting weaker or whatever, they're gonna know the other side is gaining.
You feel your power weakening, and just by, I don't know, like cause of elimination, that the other side's got to be getting stronger.
Exactly. Like there has to be something going on, and if it's not from your side, it's got to be from the opposite end. And like if your side is getting stronger, why would you be getting weaker? So that kind of helps push them to start, realizing, hey, we need to go back to where, we have more of a source, like a direct tie to the source of our power.
That's Valinor.
Yeah.
That's basically it's a poor analogy, but like recharging the elven batteries, right?
Yeah,
It
they
is.
go back
It's the
and then they
source
come
from
back.
the Matrix.
Oh my God.
Guys.
That's right. I just tied elf shit
So-
together.
Why
I have to It's
are
so
you
bad.
the way that you are?
You can go.
So
Hey,
bad.
you calm
can
down
go.
there, Michael
I'll be
Scott.
right
I'll
back.
edit this out.
Thank
Editor Adam, edit this part
he
out.
pees more than me.
Edit this part out.
He pees more
Edit this part
than
out.
me.
Last scene we left off, Aragorn had his nightmare, right? And he was dreaming about Arwen dying, the power of the even star is fading. The even star is like this little necklace, like amulet type deal.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the science behind it. I haven't
keeps
read the
her
lore
alive,
on it.
though.
Yeah, like it
It's not okay. So if you read the lore on it, it's actually an eminence of.
it's a what?
Amethyst?
Okay, I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Essence?
It's an essence of the actual original place that they lived.
Valinor?
I don't know.
It's elven heaven, so yeah.
But if you look up the lore, you could be wrong. It's always like
Oh.
Wikipedia.
Oh,
Right.
so it's like a piece of heaven that's keeping her pure and immortal.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, that's
'cause,
from
like,
the fan lore. I don't know if it's true. I mean, the
Okay.
fan lore can be saying, but it's like the thing is, it's the purest of the purest, and that's what keeps her alive.
Okay.
And that's why the people who were royalty wear it, and she is technically
She is. She's royalty. She's
Yeah,
part
that
of the
not
makes
royal.
sense.
only the
'cause, like,
royalty, but she's the original.
If you're elven royalty, you'd probably have a stronger bond to Valinor than like your run-of-the-mill elf.
Yeah.
So if Valinor's power is waning because of Sauron's power growing, it would make sense that your jewelry and your essence and your life force in general is diminishing because
Yeah.
of that.
Well, and
Yeah,
also
and-
if you watch the new TV series, sorry, Hunter.
You're good.
The
If you watch
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, where
That's basically the whole plot of that show.
well, he takes the elves, right, and he corrupts them by
Yes.
making different type of babies. So she's the purest of pure. She has
Yeah.
not been corrupted.
Well, that's
What do you-
also the whole plot line of that show
Giggity.
is like Mithril giving them back their essence. It's the
I know
same
you
thing.
hate it, but I liked it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's kind of like you said, the higher ups are going to have a higher connection or a stronger connection rather with the light from Valinor, which is probably why, like, both she and her father have the power of foresight that they do, because like we know that Legolas, like, he's able to see and hear better than most other beings, but we don't ever see him like have that same ability to be able to kind of have the foresight of what's going to happen. So I could very easily see like that being a high contributing factor to that ability, is just the simple
Yeah.
fact that royalty
So-
has a higher connection to it.
So I read, quite a bit of elves got murked during the battle during the Two Towers, right?
Well, during the film version,
Yeah, the
they're
film
not in the
version,
books.
right? So I read that a lot of people were debating whether the elves that got killed during the Two Towers movie were to Valinor or not, and a lot of people were saying no because the ones who would have made the first journey to Valinor would have been way stronger. You know what I mean?
I think if you die, you do go to Valinor as an elf, regardless of where you are in
So like,
Middle-earth.
if you die, you go to Valinor, or is Valinor a place you can go to as an elf also?
It's like both. From what I understand, it's both heaven and also a place you can go to physically, because that's where the party after the movies conclude and everything they
That's
go.
where everybody.
Yeah. So as far as I know, it's both. It's a place you can physically go to, and it's also a dimension, like a realm of heaven.
So I guess for the Maiar, like, it would kind of be similar to them returning back to I can't remember the guy's fucking name that created the Maiar and all that. But it would be like when Gandalf technically died.
I think so.
He got fucking returned to Sender
Yeah.
and was able to fucking
But
get the
see, are
upgrade.
the Maiar are lesser spiritual beings from the Valar, right?
I believe
Are the
so.
Valar from Valinor, or are they just like, did the Valar create Valinor?
See-
They created the world, they created everything, and then like they decided they needed help, and that's why they made the Maiar, because the Balrogs were Maiar, Gandalf and the 5 other wizards like Radagon, the 2 blue wizards who were unnamed, and then Saruman the White, they were
Yeah.
all Maiar too. Like,
Yes.
do they all go back to Valinor, which is elf heaven for some reason, or
See,
do they all have their own?
Now you're asking questions that are more Similarian related.
Then like the book, then like the
And-
movie related, huh?
I'm more a fan of the books and the films. The Similarian I find cool aspects of, but I don't listen to it very much. I've never read it or listened to it on audiobook. So you're asking the wrong guy on those situations. Did you have something to share, Mel?
Yeah, so you read the books or
Yeah.
listening to the
The
books
Lord of the
currently.
Rings books, right?
Yeah.
Not the Silmarillion,
Not the
which is a
Silmarillion.
big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
So have they mentioned Even Star, the necklace?
I don't believe so. I'm in the Two Towers right now.
Okay, so supposedly they don't mention it in the books, from what
Okay.
I'm reading. And the reason
Not
why in
surprised.
Wikipedia that is basically like people are trying to figure out what the necklace means is because Peter Jackson actually made it because he was trying to symbolize what it.
So it's a
They're
Peter
more fun.
Jackson
idea.
creation.
Yeah, and he was
Construct.
trying to basically create that construct of what the Even Star would be. It would be
Okay.
so it's not in the books.
Okay.
But
So
what
it's
does Peter Jackson want the necklace to represent? That?
probably
it would
like
be like the Evans or the
essence?
the essence of
Of
the
Yeah.
Valinor.
easy
like-
for the viewers to
yeah.
listen
Yeah,
or
like
like
something you can
understand.
look at and
the
understand.
purity
Yeah.
of like
stronger.
of it getting corrupted. So like it's basically 100% pure. So Peter Jackson actually made it. It was not in the books.
That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Which
then.
that
Supposedly, I'm going. I never read the books. I'm going off of Wikipedia.
that kind of makes sense because, like, you know, obviously the books you're able to go into more detail of things
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you have to paint the fucking picture in
picture.
someone's mind. However, when it comes to like film and media,
Yeah.
you make the picture. Like
Yeah.
it's not someone reading it, interpreting it on their own. Like it's in front of their eyes. So it makes sense that like a filmmaker would insert an object like that to where you know, you're able to get that visual storytelling because like that's a really big thing when it comes to films and things like this, to be able to tell a story without having to put words to it.
Like, can you imagine in the books the way they describe the necklace glowing? It'd be like, this necklace is she wearing
It'd be-
glows. Yeah,
yeah.
it's glowing and then it gets dimmer.
So
it
like, what
shines
could that
bright like
mean?
a
But-
diamond
yeah.
and then goes down like a
But
turd.
then, like, when you're watching it and like everything you've watched so far gives you kind of an idea of what's going on, and you watch this brightness getting dimmer, just watching it, you can understand, okay, this light that it draws from is getting weaker. When you're reading the words in the book, it might not have the same effect and it might
Yeah.
not hit you the same way because they're
It's
just.
visual.
we needed a visual storytelling device.
It's beautiful.
I
The
mean-
way if you look at it, it's absolutely beautiful. It looks Evan Star. It looks
yeah.
A
basically
picture is
Elven.
worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm
So-
gonna get tattooed.
Let's
Before we move on, like I thought of a comparison of it. Watching the light dim in the Evan Star is like watching the rose petals fall from the live action Beauty and the Beast. Like
Yeah,
you
that
know,
is
as
so
the
yeah.
petals
true.
start to fall, like
Yeah.
Like,
shit's
you know.
yeah,
It
shit's
doesn't
starting to
tell
hit the
you,
fan.
but you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's that same level of visual storytelling.
okay.
I can see
um,
why Peter Jackson did it. Yeah.
Yeah, like it makes sense. Like you get that visual representation of the dire need for whatever situation it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to go back to the movie, obviously Aragorn has that vision and everything. He goes to the tent of King Theoden, and I wish we got to see just a few seconds earlier because King Theoden is standing over the hooded figure, which we know now as Elrond. I want to know what they were saying back and forth to each other because it looks like it was a heated conversation. Like I this is just me theory crafting a little bit.
They're talking about dinner.
Dude, I hated the way you bite in those fucking
So-
tomatoes.
As much as Theoden blames Gondor for not helping out Rohan with like previous battles, I wonder if Theoden was also blaming Elrond, like, where have the elves been this whole time? We've been under siege for 2 or 3 lives of men. Where have the elves been? You know, where have you been?
Well, and I feel like it seems like when you listen to what Gimli says in the first couple books, that just the elves are so high and mighty and so self-centered that they don't feel like the problems of Middle Earth apply to them until
Yeah.
it's like right at their front door. And then,
Pretty
and then
much.
at that point, that's when Elrond and all the other elves are like, oh, we better do something before this gets really, really bad.
Yeah.
And finally starts making a problem for us.
Well,
You know,
also,
to try to like, I guess, bring it to modern day terms, it's essentially like everyone else would be like, you know, middle class with, I guess you could put probably the Shire as like fucking, you know,
Upper middle?
I
It's
would,
not
I,
south.
I would
What
put
is it?
them as lower.
They're so happy though.
They're happy, but really when you
Bunch
think
of
about it, they
farmers
live,
and bums.
yeah, they live like kind of a more, I guess,
Work hard,
for
play hard.
lack of a better term, like a primitive lifestyle. Like, you know, it's
Yeah,
all just like
that's fair.
farming and things like that. They don't need much to be happy.
Yeah.
The elves, however, to put it
Big
again,
giant cities and everything.
they would be
is so
more of like the
grand.
one percenters. They're not going to give a fuck until they're affected. As soon as they're affected, like, fuck, we got to actually do something.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be pissed off at somebody who, like, your whole life you struggled
Yeah.
because of one thing that the 1%er could have fixed? And finally, when it's a problem with the 1%ers, that's when they act. Why wouldn't you be mad at that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, like, you know, finally these guys are like, oh shit, we need to actually do something. So I was like, oh, cool. So you couldn't help me
Yeah.
out when it was this or
Welcome
that?
to the party, jerk offs.
Yeah. Welcome to my whole life, asshole.
Yeah.
well,
Like,
also the Elven Rings of Power, their whole purpose is to preserve the Elven kingdoms, slow the decay of time, and hide them from the powers of the One Ring. So
Oh,
maybe that's another
man.
reason why the elves don't involve themselves until it's like the last minute, is because they have
America.
America. They have Nenya and the other elvish rings of power to protect their kingdoms. That's what
Mhm.
Galadriel does with the elven kingdom of Lothlorien. They're just hiding around in this, wooded area, and they're basically cloaked from the evil of the outside world.
I did not realize that that's what the Elven Rings of Power is supposed to do, but
Maybe
that
it's
totally makes sense.
Huh.
Like, if your whole entire purpose is to preserve your kingdom and the timeline in general, I believe
Yeah.
kind of what you said. Like, why would you try to, help or not help?
Yeah.
Because like if everything is going to play out how it's supposed to, why would you try to change it?
That's the whole purpose of the 3 elven rings of power, is to preserve the elves like grace and their like we were talking about how they had to go back to Valinor because their immortality is fading. That's the same purpose of the rings of power. The elvish rings of power is to preserve their immortality, their grace. And that's why Galadriel, when he's talking to Frodo, he says, "You come bearing the footsteps of doom." She means like, whether or not you succeed or fail, it means the doom of my people. Because if you succeed, well, you destroy the one ring, but also the 3 rings of power that are made by the elves, they will cease to work. So if you destroy the one ring, all the other rings that were created by Sauron cease to work as well.
But if he doesn't destroy the ring, Sauron's going to get so much power, he's going to wipe out the entirety of Middle Earth.
Yeah. So either
Wow.
way, that's why after the War of the Ring and the Third Age, that's why after all that, the elves still go back to Valinor.
Like,
Yeah, we're
Deuces.
peace. But to go back to the movie, Aragorn is talking. He enters the tent. King Theoden says, "I will take my leave now." And we now realize that this hooded figure is Elrond. And Elrond takes off his cloak and everything. And he's basically saying, "I've come here to give hope back to the realm of men." And Aragorn is talking about how we can't do it. Like, we don't have enough men. There's no way that we can really win. And Elrond is like, "I give hope to men." And Aragorn's like, "I keep none for myself." He pulls out the sword, and we saw in a previous scene that the sword was reforged. This is known as Narsil, or now it's known as Anduril, the Flame of the West.
That sword was broken.
Yeah.
It has been reborn.
It has been remade.
Nothing.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
Okay. But the sword has been reforged, and now it's called Anduril, the Flame of the West. And there's nothing like super special about this sword. It's more like a kingly heirloom that proves it's like King Arthur's sword, right?
Yeah, like
a token to prove your right of birth almost.
Kinda. It's like to prove that you are worthy of being king. Like, whoever holds the sword is worthy of being king of Gondor, and vice versa, like all the other mini realms of men.
essentially it's like fucking Middle Earth's version of Mjolnir. Like whoever holds a sword has the right to do so and so.
Whoever holds the sword, let him have the power of Aragorn. Throws it into a fucking But no, Elrond is talking about how because Elrond is one of the most advanced and elderly elves in Middle Earth. He's one of the most powerful elves in Middle Earth. He has the power of foresight more than any other elf. He can see far into the future. And Elrond has seen all the other races that are coming to Sauron's aid. He's seen the Corsairs of Umbar, which are like the pirates. He's seen the Easterlings. Did it freeze? Oh, it did freeze. That's beautiful.
Nice dank face.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
So he's seen the Easterlings. He's seen the Haradrim, which are like the Middle Eastern dressed, men.
The darkies.
The dark.
Sorry.
I said Middle Eastern, not African. But they're the ones dressed in like hijabs and like cloth wrapped around the
With
heads.
the Oliphants?
The Oliphants or elephants, whatever you want to say. He's seeing all these different races that are coming to Mordor's aid. And Elrond is like, "Dude, you guys are fucked." So
yeah, done.
Elrond, he doesn't really care. We've talked about this. Like, the elves in general don't really care about the races of men and dwarves and how things are going in Middle Earth. They're fucking off to Valinor. They're like, "Peace, deuces, we're out." But the only reason
Peace
Elrond
out.
cares the only reason Elrond cares is because his daughter's life
Eowyn?
force is tied to the fate of the ring. So if Sauron wins, Arwen's life force will fade and die. I don't know how that works, like the plot relevance, but for some reason, if Sauron wins, Arwen dies regardless if she goes to Valinor or not. So Elrond is like, I'm going to help you guys out. I'm going to reforge the Sword of Gondor, give this back to you, and you, Aragorn, can now rally the races of men. And Aragorn is like, dude, even if I tried, there's not enough men to go around. And Elrond is like, there are those that dwell in the mountains. And then it brings this whole like eerie, like Ghostbusters, wind and everything.
Like, not living
Ghostbusters.
men.
Yeah, it rattles the tent, and then we see a snapshot of the ghost.
Jabooyah.
Yeah. And Aragorn knows of these men. And he's like, murderers, traitors. You would call upon them to fight? They believe in nothing. They
What?
answer to no one. And Elrond's like, they will answer the king of Gondor, whips out his fucking big ass sword. But this is
His big ass cock.
yeah, this is the scene where he gives Anduril to Aragorn, and with this sword, he could command all men, like undead or not. So he could, with this sword, rally this ghost army and fight for, Middle Earth. Which I don't know, like the whole backstory of these men that turned their back on Isildur and like died, and now they became ghosts. I'm assuming they disobeyed their oath to Isildur, turned tail and ran, and they died. And because of their oath, they're now cursed with like undeath. I don't know if this is like a Peter Jackson thing, because
Like a Silmarillion type thing.
yeah, because I know in the books, Aragorn doesn't come with a bunch of ghosts. He comes with all the other Dunedain, like all the other rangers. So Aragorn is a Dunedain. Basically a ranger of the north, like wanderers and everything.
Like
I'm a wanderer.
like a mercenary almost? or
Kinda.
what?
But they're descendant of Numenor, which is like basically Gondor 1.0. The race of men that were tall and mighty and blessed by the Valinor and the elves. They were tall, they had huge long lifespans. Like but they were the blessed version of men. They were strong, tall, powerful.
So,
and-
sorry. So when we talk about men, we're excluding elves and dwarves, right?
Yeah.
So just like humans, dark humans, lighter humans, like everything that's not dwarves and men's, right?
Yeah,
Hunter, stop it.
we're excluding those other races.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's also like I knew that the elves weren't included, but I wasn't 110% if the dwarves were or were not.
No, so Numenor was an island race of holy men that were blessed by the elves. So they had longer lifespans, they were stronger, they were more advanced technologically, and Aragorn and all the Dunedain are descendant of that race of men, but it's slowly fading over the centuries.
Because it probably gets diluted from, the way everything ever gets diluted.
Yeah, and also that realm was submerged by water and destroyed.
Yeah. Get the-
But anyway, so I know in the books, Aragorn rides up and pulls up with a bunch of Dunedain. I don't think the ghosts are part of the books. I think that's a Peter Jackson thing.
It
I could be
probably is.
wrong. Yeah,
don't
I,
know.
I could be wrong, but I need to brush up on my
I mean,
research.
thought-
knowing the
so,
necklace is Peter
I
Jackson.
read today, this morning, because I was trying to make sure I was like at least kind of up to savvy. They're
Oh
like,
God, he's like sitting there looking up stuff as he's driving.
no, I'm not. It was earlier today, but like the way that they described all the ghosts doing the thing they do during the final battle is kind of silly looking. But like as far as I read, like he does pull up with ghosts, but it
Yeah.
kind of goes a little differently.
Oh, okay.
And like if you make a like a life or death vow, and then you die, a life or death vow, even in death, is still a vow.
right.
So I wonder if that's why, like, they didn't think, oh, if I die,
That's
what's
exactly-
gonna happen? And then they get called upon afterwards.
That's
What the
exactly what
fuck is
happened.
this?
Yeah, like this is bullshit.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all I was done.
I thought I got my 72 virgins.
oh Jesus. Yeah, that's exactly what happens is these undead ghosts, they can't rest until they fulfill their oath to Isildur or the heir of Isildur, which is Aragorn.
So like between that, it probably doesn't say, but like between when they make the vow and how long it takes them to fill it, does it say how long that was?
Well, Isildur died in the Second Age, I believe. So it's
What
been
age-
thousands of years.
Oh my gosh, they're just
chilling.
bebopping around.
They're just chilling, watching
waiting for
reruns of
someone
Rick
to
and
be
Morty
like,
in the mountains. You know,
Yeah,
you.
dude,
And they're
they've
like,
got fucking
finally.
Ghost Fight Club going on up in the fucking mountains.
they got to keep it interesting up there. But so we leave that scene. You know, Aragorn is finally accepting his role as king. Do you have something to share, Mel?
Yes, but finish your thing and then come back to me.
Aragorn is finally accepting his role as king, and now he has to basically abandon all these Rohan soldiers on the eve of battle. And that creates some conflict. But go ahead, Mel.
All right, listen, folks. Did some research while you were talking. Okay, so Aragorn, okay.
Yeah.
Remember I talked about how I was trying to figure out why Aragorn kind of outlives a lot of humans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I told you, oh my gosh, Aragorn is a half-breed.
He's not a half-breed.
He is
Filthy
technically
half-breed.
he
Is that the
has
dude
breed.
today he was
He
talking
is
about?
technically half-breed. Yes, he is. He is technically half-breed.
What, with an elf?
Yes. His mother
Oh.
or somebody in his family slept with an elf, and that is why he outlives.
Well, that's also the Numenorian blood too.
Well, yeah, but the
Dude today's the Rangers, huh? And
Yeah.
he's
Numenorian is
technically
the
has
thing.
elven into his blood. I can't remember if his mother or if his aunt. Somebody in his family.
Well, if you're half-breed, it has to be your mom or your dad, right? Otherwise, it starts diluting like a certain
Yeah,
amount.
it
Yeah.
of
And
starts
that's why he
dropping
outlives.
significantly each generation.
Like, because he lives for a very long time.
I know there's a song that he constantly sings about in the books between a love story between a man and an elf.
He's probably talking about his mom. I don't know.
He's talking
Someone's
about his
gonna
mama.
fucking correct me in the comments. They're gonna be like,
Wait,
But-
you're telling me his
Anyways,
dad banged one of them daggum
this is my
pointy ears?
Oh my god!
"This
But
is." I'm going on with my point. You can shut up, and
Okay.
then
Okay.
I will talk.
Nice. Golly.
go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, we're talking about Erwin, right? And how
Are we?
so Erwin, we don't know why she's dying, and all the other elves
Oh,
are.
Arwen.
Arwen. Okay, yeah, I do have dyslexia. Okay, just stating
Oh,
that.
come on.
Okay, so how she outlives and how the other elves are like living, right? And she
Dying.
seems like the only one that's kind of dying. She's the purest of the breed.
Right, she's part of the royal family.
She's pure than any other thing. She
Yeah.
has nothing, unfortunately, mixed into her. Which, come on, that could be a little fun.
Shut up.
Oh, my Lanta.
Well, I
Anyways.
mean, obviously Aragorn never fucking busted inside. His pull-up game's strong.
You
So
guys
that's
are
why,
horrid.
Okay, that's why they're kind of
No.
connected, though, right? Because she's pure, and he has kind of like that pure breed into him.
Okay.
And she's dying because of it. And that's the reason why that they're trying to run away. And the father is like begging pretty much. And he's like, hey, look, the even star is dying
yeah.
because the purest of the elves die. Not only what happens if the pure elves die?
Well, that would make sense if we're talking about the purest of the pure and their connection to the light of Valinor are so strong. If Sauron's getting stronger, the darkness is getting stronger, the light's getting weaker. The people who draw the most power from the light are going to be getting the weakest. And if
Yes.
Arwen
Yeah.
if Arwen has the strongest connection to the light, she is going to be getting the weakest from it getting weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
going to be feeling the impact harder than anybody else because, like you said, those that have a stronger connection to it, they're going to start feeling the effects almost immediately, as opposed to like someone that has a weaker connection because it might be a bit for like, hey, something doesn't fucking feel right.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
delayed you might have the shits or something like that versus dying.
So going off of what I read on Wikipedia, which you know how Wikipedia is, the reason why the father doesn't feel the effect is because he's older. So she's younger.
Oh,
so
okay.
she feels more of the purest heart and the light, right?
Okay.
So if she dies, we're basically.
Okay. So we go back. God, shut the
I'm
See,
so
kill him.
sorry.
Can you stop
I'm
the
so
car?
sorry.
Santa wants us to shut
So
up.
sorry
Adam
you
wants
asked
us
me to be
shut
on
up.
here, bro. I was ready.
Pull down his pants. Fuck him.
No, don't spit on my dick.
That's
But,
it. We're going to fuck him to death.
So we go back to Aragorn and Eowyn, the
Mm.
daughter of King Theoden, and obviously Eowyn being hot in the pants for Aragorn this whole time.
Don't put it like that.
Um,
Come on,
No, but
that,
seriously, though.
that soup scene.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would love to see that soup scene again.
seriously, oh god! But seriously, Eowyn, who is the daughter of King Theoden, has had the hots for Aragorn this whole time.
Yeah.
I
and
know
now-
that poor horse
Have you
is
seen
back,
the
man,
soup
just
scene?
fucking drenched.
Huh?
The
Yeah,
soup scene?
When I was in high school.
No.
Was he Super Bowl?
No, she's talking about how Eowyn made some soup for Aragorn in an extended scene. And she's like, it's not much, but it's hot and warm and, and he eats it. He's like,
Wow.
Yeah, no, you.
"Bleh."
Oh no, it's bad.
Yeah.
No,
It's
It's
awful.
horrible.
She sucks
You-
at cooking, but
You
like
gotta watch it.
he
tries
does his
to be
best.
polite.
he does his best to just
He's
swallow
a-
it and be like,
Mhm.
Well, they-
it's
kind of-
good,
Why
thank
can't you
you."
be like that, Adam? Because I made dumplings for you. And you're like, it's not my
That's
mother's.
not where I thought you were going with that. But okay,
Oh.
anyway,
Oh.
let's go back on track.
Uh-huh.
Adam wants
So-
to just shut up. I'm sorry.
No, it's
Yeah,
all good.
you shut up.
So
He
we go
wants you
back to
shut up.
Eowyn and Aragorn, and Eowyn is obviously, having attachment issues and everything. You can't leave on the eve of battle. And Aragorn says, "Why are you here? Do you not know?" And Aragorn finally picks up on it. Is like, "All right, dude, I know you have the hots for me, but it's not going to work between us. I already have a chick waiting for me at Rivendell."
Mm-hmm.
Look here, I'm not looking for a side piece. I've
He's
already got
hot.
my main squeeze.
Yeah. And Eowyn, gets heartbroken and everything. And
Aw.
Aragorn, he just says, "I cannot give you what you seek." So he knows that Eowyn wants a relationship with him and everything.
Well, I mean,
Why
dude,
can't
it's
you guys
hard
just
not to
let us
fucking.
go like that?
It's hard to not fucking see it when she's practically drooling over you every time you get in her fucking eyesight. Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
fucking smell it wafting towards you. Like
Yeah, but it's like when you got
She made
You
him
know.
soup.
when somebody asks you, who you have on your mind, or like, if you could fucking get married, or like whatever they have in their weird or Tolkien medieval times, like who
Mhm.
would you marry? And you have somebody already, like, would you really fucking fall victim to the lust of just some random person who you're like,
Be gone, harlot.
this person's kind of annoying, and this person does really annoying stuff and hits me up all the time.
yeah, this one's constantly trying to slide into my DMs.
Mhm.
So Aragorn is trying to go through
Oh,
the
my
Dimalt
Gimli.
Road. And the Dimalt Road is where we saw that ghost earlier, right? Like that passage through the mountains and everything.
Yeah.
And Aragorn is trying to sneak off all like nonchalant, like, and Gimli and Legolas, they're waiting. They're like, "Where the fuck are you going?"
Where you going,
Um,
digga?
Yeah.
Now he has to
I
cut
did
that
it.
out.
Oh, I
did it.
You didn't
You-
catch it.
Okay.
Now you have to cut it out.
I'm sorry, that was fucked up.
Yeah, he did. He fucked up. You
Restart
say
again.
sorry.
But Gimli is like, "Where are you going? Where do you think you're off to?" And Aragorn's like, "I'm sorry, Gimli, not on this time." Oh, and Legolas is like, Have you learned nothing about the stubbornness of dwarves? You might as well accept it. We're going with you, laddie."
Oh.
So that
I love
shows
my
the
Gimli.
loyalty.
I
What's that,
love
Mel?
Gimli.
I love my Gimli. Ali has Gimli.
Yeah,
Dude, I like when I was a kid, Gimli or die.
Gimli's the goat.
I
Yeah,
don't
We
even know
have a
why.
Build-A-Bear for Gimli for Ali. So cute.
No,
No, we
We
do.
do, we do.
Seriously
That's
do.
so
And it
cool.
makes the little sound effects. He's like, "You have my axe."
Yeah. So they
And
go.
my cock.
Ow,
They-
fuck you.
They all go down the Dimalt Road, and the riders of Rohan, they're like, "Dude, where the fuck is he going?" Because remember, after the last movie, Aragorn's earned the loyalty of the Rohan people, right? He's basically seen as their leader, their captain, besides obviously King Theoden.
Yeah.
But he fought with them and died with them at the Battle of Helm's Deep, so they look up to him. And they're like, "Dude, where the fuck is he going? He's leaving us." And Gambling, basically the captain of Rohan, is like, he leaves because there is no hope. And here comes King Theoden. He leaves because he must. And Gambling is like, we so few have come. Jeez. So few have come. We cannot hope to defeat the armies of Mordor. And I love this. Theoden is like, "You're right." Like, what? The king just agreed with you? Like that we're doomed here?
we're
He's like, yeah,
we're
but
gonna get fucking diddled. Like
oh no,
there isn't enough baby oil. We're gonna get fucked.
Yeah. So King Theoden is like, "So yeah, you're right, Gambling. We don't have enough men to, defeat the armies of Mordor." And Jesus, you guys.
she's like, keep going.
But we will give them a fight nonetheless. It's kind of like a Spartan mentality. Like we know we're fucked.
The Battle of Thermopylae, 300
Yeah.
versus however many Persian. They're like,
Nerds.
they got more than us, but we're Spartan and we'll make it happen
That's
as much as we can.
Yeah, that's basically the mentality of, Theoden and the Rohan army is like, we know we're probably not going to come back alive, but what other choice do we have? We're going to go down fighting. But anyway, how far are
Fuck. Why you
Oh,
fucking
I'm
out?
so sorry, Adam. Yeah, we keep going off topic, and I feel like you really take this shit seriously. I'm trying to take it
It's all
seriously because
good.
you seem passionate
You
about
didn't
it.
get mad at me.
We need to banish this motherfucker.
But even though we haven't really gotten far in like the movie, I think this is probably a good place to stop.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like, you got to figure too, like, we went through a very, very long intro. Like, we were bringing
did.
on,
New people.
we brought on
and
a new guest. We
super
brought someone
duper
back
new.
that hasn't ever, that hasn't been here in months.
I don't care if we only get like 10 minutes of screen time into the movie. Like
It's
Yeah,
his
I was
house.
we talked about a lot of cool lore stuff.
Yeah, like, we
His fault.
actually had some really, really good fucking discussions. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm pretty okay with us only getting this far. Plus, it kind of helps, like, extend the content.
Gives
Yeah.
you guys more
I'm
stuff
in
to
trouble.
do later when
You're not in
people who aren't all boosted up can
Yeah.
fuck you over every 10
All
minutes.
right. So
I'm
I'll go ahead
grounded.
and talk to the audience now. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end it there. So I know we didn't really get far into the movie, but we had a lot of great conversations about like Valinor and the afterlife of the elves and just the lore and the lore of Lord of the Rings in general. We had a lot of great conversations, which is awesome because we don't really get those deep dives as much when it's just me and you.
Yeah, no, because, like, I mean, we have our deep dive moments, but it's not as frequent because it's just two of us bouncing ideas off each other. When we
Yeah.
have 4 people in here, that's 4 different brains that we can be like, hey, what do you think about this? And then, it'll hit them, they'll think of something, it just turns into a spiral effect.
Yeah.
Well, and then
So
it
it-
seems like. Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter. You want to keep going?
Well, I was just gonna say, so, like, it's nice actually to have all of those different opinions coming in, like, because it makes it to where we can actually have a deeper conversation.
It seems like you two are so up to snuff on your movies that, like, and
Shut
that's
up.
not. No, that's
Don't
not.
you throw me under the bus.
No. That's not a bad thing. It seems like you're so up to snuff on the movies that, like, what's going to happen, the implications, like, just like what happens on screen and how it's supposed to make you feel. And then you have me who reads about stuff and thinks, not that I know what's going to happen, but like kind of what happened in the books and how it's supposed to make you feel. And then you have her who, in real time, as you guys are talking about stuff and, kind of wondering, how's this supposed to make you feel?
Yeah.
How, and she can kind of fucking zone in and be like, well, as far as, Peter Jackson or the fucking books go, this is how it's supposed to make you feel.
Yeah.
Compliment.
So
It adds a nice dynamic,
It
I
does.
got
Like,
a
I mean, honestly, like,
compliment.
I don't know if you guys have ever watched anything from the Dropouts podcast, but essentially, like, Mel is playing the role of Alyssa, which is funny because
The
I'm not
nerd.
family
stupid.
connection.
The super nerd, the turbo nerd.
Not necessarily the terminal. She's the one behind the
Don't lie.
computer. So, like, anytime they need research done,
Ready
they
to
can
hit you
refer to
with
her.
the facts that you guys are not 100% sure about.
Exactly. So, like, it's honestly kind of nice that we have someone that while we're sitting here rambling, she's able to, like, okay, hold on, they had questions about this or that or whatever. She's able to go through and look it up real quick and be like, oh, well, this is what I just found. So it adds a unique dynamic
Yeah.
to
It
the
keeps you
conversation that we never
guys-
had before.
It makes it interesting because we have the expert, we have the advanced, journeyman, we have the novice, and then we have the newbie.
yeah.
Like, it makes a nice dynamic. Like, if it was just about 4 neckbeards talking about Lord of the... No, I'm serious. If it was just 4 fucking World of Warcraft neckbeards that...
Don't bring World of Warcraft into this. I'm offended.
Yeah, but
I'll get offended.
if it was 4 guys who know their shit just talking about random facts, that's not interesting.
It'd just be like the same shit back and forth because everybody
Yeah.
knows everything.
Like, you bring fresh points to this, you bring fresh points to this mixed with our knowledge, it makes good
You guys are
conversation.
old.
So, but yeah, like, I know we didn't get far in the episode, like in terms of content, but I had a great time with like our conversations and everything. So we're going to end this podcast episode right here, right where King Theoden is talking to his daughter. Not his daughter.
It's his niece.
It's his niece, his niece, Eowyn.
Eowyn.
So we're going to
Arwen's
end.
the elf.
Yeah, Arwen's the elf. There's Arwen and then Eowyn.
Well-
So we're going to end this episode right here. Mel, did you have something you want to say?
I got a joke.
Okay, what's the joke?
Let her rip. Hater.
This
I
is
would
the end,
make
so this-
another Lord of the Rings joke, but all the good ones are Aragorn.
Don't you mean Aragon?
I can't even
The
figure
fact that you corrected
Not Aragorn, Aragon.
I'm not even laughing at
You're
the
fucking
joke.
your mic. You're fucking your mic.
I felt it.
I'm not even laughing at
Aaron
like
Close.
the fucking
I
the
had
joke
to make
itself.
a
I'm laughing
fucking
at the
joke.
failure.
You know, I'm gonna try to make a joke.
In
each
her
time.
defense, there was no
Yeah.
E at the end of Aragorn. So like if you weren't him, you would know it should be Aragon.
Yeah.
And
It's-
then
That-
you finished
that
the
was
joke
kinda
for her,
bad.
which was even
Yeah.
funnier.
just edit that shit out.
Well,
All right. No, I'm leaving that in.
I
But,
think it's because he knows
He's
she
gonna
has,
edit-
you know, the
He's gonna make
dyslexia.
me look
probably
like a
read
stupid
it.
idiot. He
well,
makes
anyway.
himself look better.
Anyway,
Anyway,
this
Anyways.
is the end of
This
this
is the
episode.
end.
Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna Yeet
That
this-
out. I sure hoping you're gonna edit that
Hey,
out.
anyways,
You're like, he's a white
David,
man.
calm down. Go ahead.
out of my head, bruises on my arms.
This has been Virtual Tavern. My name is Adam Edgar, joined by
Hunter Chambliss.
and also
Nathan Taylor.
Beer wench.
Beer Wench. We hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. Let us know what you guys think at contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com. We
don't
would love
care.
to hear from you, and we will read it on the next podcast episode. That being said, we will catch you guys on the flip side. Ka-chow.
you.
That's
Bye.
my fucking thing. Fuck you.